Okay. Okay, it looks like we're streaming now. Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:13 p.m. I have one thing I want to mention to everyone that was provided to me today by our elections clerk. Just got to find it here. So she sent, Barbara Major, our elections clerk, sent me an email this morning. She wanted me to provide to everyone this evening at the meeting. And it reads, good morning, Your Worship. With respect to the upcoming municipal elections, I want to provide the following information which you may wish to share with the municipality of Calvin and council meeting this evening. As elections clerk, I will be in attendance at the Voter Help Center on the dates and hours outlined below, which are being distributed to residents by means of a few bulletins. I received this bulletin last week. Eligible electors who may need assistance may attend at the Voters Help Center to vote by internet on Friday, October the 14th from 9:30 to 4 p.m. On Monday, October the 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Wednesday, October the 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Friday, October the 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And on Monday, October the 24th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., the close of the voting. This is election day. Additionally, for eligible electors who may not have received their voter information letter, they are able to attend the Voter Help Center for assistance. Eligible voters attending at the Voter Help Center to vote must bring with them their voter information letter, which contains a unique PIN number and identification that has their name and qualifying address on it. The voters list is updated as correct information is received and reviewed. A video which outlines the internet telephone voting is up for viewing on the Municipality of Calvin website. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact Barbara. All right. Okay, so next item on the agenda is to appoint a clerk pro tempore for this evening. I'm going to appoint, I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for that. I want to appoint Colleen Hannigan for this evening, and I'll explain the reason for that. Reason for that is that we're going to defer the whole meeting tonight to tomorrow night, with the exception of the public hearing on the planning zone matters, because it was advertised and we want to make sure that the people in attendance get to provide their thoughts or ask any questions regarding the plan. So I'll need a resolution for that.
I can get a mover and a seconder, please, Your Worship.
Pardon me? Okay, I'll need a mover and a seconder then. So Councillor Cross, can you move that one, please?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councillor Shipman, can you second it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation Municipality of Calvin hereby appoint Colleen Hannigan as clerk pro tempore for the purpose of this planning board meeting this evening, October the 11th, 2022. Any opinions? Councillor Cross?
No opinions.
Councillor Shipham?
No opinions.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a vote on this. Councillor Shipman, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
I vote yes, so that's carried. All right. So I have, before we let Barb go. I have a little something I want to say. Before we begin this public meeting, if there is anyone listening on YouTube who wishes to comment on the proposed amendments and has not yet signed in to the Zoom link into the meeting, please sign in. Please sign in now using the Zoom link provided in the agenda. If you cannot sign in, please call the toll-free number provided by Zoom so you can participate via phone. This public meeting relates to the zoning amendments before us tonight, detailed in draft bylaw number 2022-056 as required by section 34 of the Planning Act. Where are we here? It is being held for the purpose of giving the public an opportunity to make representations to council in respect of the proposed bylaw. Council will not be responding to questions or comments at this time, but simply listening to your input. I may ask the planner to clarify any questions should they arise with the comments, or she could respond herself. Council will be discussing the bylaw prior to voting on it during the regular portion of the council meeting tomorrow evening. Notice of this meeting was posted on the township website as well as circulated in a local paper to owners of property currently zoned MX that are the main subject of this amendment. Before we begin with any comments from the public, I will ask the planner, Colleen Hannigan, to review the changes being proposed in the amendment and provide a summary of the comments received to date. Once the planner has finished, if you wish to provide comments, please raise your Zoom hand. And once you are unmuted by the clerk, begin by stating your name and your address for the record. If you have dialed in, I will get to you as well. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes per person. Ms. Hannigan, please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor Pennell. And so just to let everyone know, the first reading of this bylaw occurred on September 27th. And tonight we are just going to be, as the mayor said, just dealing with the public hearing or the public meeting portion of this bylaw that's required under the Planning Act. So just to review the main changes that are proposed through this amendment. The reason for these changes, as a lot of you are aware, is the fact that when some of the wording was put into the new bylaw, it was not exactly as council had discussed, and there was a lot of discussion about the impact of some of the restrictions for setbacks, particularly with respect to the MX zones, which are the aggregate and pits and quarries. So the building official and I, because he's the one that does issue the building permits, took a look through the bylaw, and we found a little bit extra additional material that we thought would be worth including in this general amendment to the new bylaw. One is a slight mapping change, and well, actually there are two mapping changes, but generally the minimum distance separation and the special setbacks sections, which deal with influence areas and separation setbacks from aggregate uses and for sensitive uses. And these sensitive land uses include all residential uses, which are mainly the reason for this amendment. So the first section, point 4.21, minimum distance separation and special setbacks, the wording there was very restrictive, and so the following is being suggested. So the following apply despite the zoning regulations found in this bylaw, which just means that this section will overrun any other regulations that you may read in the bylaw. So number two, that the following wording be added to the waste management facility section. We took a look at that, and the reduction, there'd been quite a reduction in those setbacks. There was discussion around increasing them to the 500 meters that is shown on the zoning map, so that they are consistent with one another. That's not an overly restrictive setback. There's not a lot of that happening in the township, as you know, and so that was felt that that new wording would deal with that. The third one is the section on pits and quarries, and we replaced that whole section, the wording in that section, so that we can deal with the influence areas, which are the areas of possible impact around an aggregate use of pit or quarry. And 1,000 meters is what is put into the official plan. And it was in the zoning bylaw for 1,000 meters for the influence area and the and any setbacks from the zoning boundary of that property to the property line of the property that we're talking about. And sometimes if the property was immediately adjacent to those lands, then there was just not going to be any development at all allowed. And there was a situation that arose after the bylaw was brought into effect in July, that someone wanted to develop and hadn't been able to get a building permit because of the new bylaw. So we took a look at that, and it was agreed that we would recommend that the distances would be reinstated from the previous bylaw, which is the 70 meters setback from a pit and 300 meters from a quarry, and that the distance could be measured a little bit more realistically. So instead of using the property boundaries, the zone boundary was used, and then the other distance was measured to the sensitive use being applied for. So the other thing that we added into that, because we wanted to make sure that we stayed consistent with the official plan, which is the new official plan for the township, we added in the fact that we would flag any properties within 1,000 meters of any MX zone, so that the owners, when they came for a building permit, or a buyer, when they were coming to inquire about a property, they would know that potentially in sometime in the future, potentially it could exist now, but mostly for future purposes, that there was an MX zone within 1,000 meters of what they were looking at or what they were developing, and that they would acknowledge to the municipality that they were aware of this, and that they would not be complaining about it in the future should that development occur on that property. So in that sense, it was allowing the development, but with the acknowledgement that this could potentially happen in the future. We did take a look at the existing MX zone in the east, which was substantial, and it followed basically the air photo interpretation of what the pits and quarry, or what the aggregate potential was in that area that the provincial government put on. And it looked to me and to the building official, to the CBO, that there was an awful lot of environmentally sensitive area that was included in the MX zone that was placed on the new zoning map. So we took a look at that, and if you notice the map that's included in the bylaw, you'll see that we've reduced those areas and limited to those areas to outside of anything that environmentally sensitive. Now, there's always studies that can be done, and if anybody wanted to expand beyond those MX zones, they're going to have to do studies for those uses. So this is mainly what's happening with this bylaw. The other thing is that if there are applications for subdivision, condominium, or severance that don't meet the setbacks of 70 meters and the 300 meters, then they would be looking at doing possibly further study if the ministry thought that was necessary. The other thing that we came across was the fact that lots 18 and 19 in concession 8, which is just above Smith Lake, was taken out of the MX zone. And the problem with that is that it is licensed for aggregate use, so it has to be basically in an MX zone. Hopefully the reduced setbacks, or the going back to the setbacks that we used previously, will allay any fears of not being able to develop in that area. So one other thing that we did add was there was a discussion with council during the bylaw process that the detached private garage be added to a permitted principal use for in the rural zone and also in the limited service rural, the LSR. So that's been put back into the bylaw, so that would be allowed. They could issue a building permit for that on a vacant property. And those are the changes that that are incorporated into this bylaw and the reasoning behind it. I did have a couple of calls from the public about the bylaw amendment. We went through it on an individual basis, and they seemed to be satisfied with where we were going with it. And those are all the comments that I did receive to date, Mr. Mayor. And unless there's any questions I can answer, that's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, I have my hand up. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I'm allowed, permitted to speak now or if I should wait.
Mr. Mayor, you're on mute. Sorry.
Please proceed. Sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Parshan Misagi. My husband and I, Jason Lambert Mindersma, and I purchased a property in the township of Calvin. It's located on the corner of Concession 6 and Lot 11. We started the process last year, went through all of the paperwork, got a survey done. Everything was approved for us to sever a couple of lots off of our land for residential use, and also to develop our own land for our own use to build on. Everything was approved, and we had everything lined up to sell our new lots when we found out about this bylaw. So we were taken aback, but we did get a chance to exchange some emails with Mr. Pennell and get some clarification. But I just wanted to verify, I guess, where can I access this new, the new wording for the bylaw, just to study it and see if it applies to us still.
Mr. Mayor, would you like me to answer that?
Yes, please. I know we haven't passed the bylaw yet, but please proceed.
Yes, if you would like to, did you state your full name and address for the, well, I'm the clerk, but for the recording secretary, if you could do that and with an email address, we could send you that information.
Sure, certainly. My name is Parshan Misagi. I can provide you the spelling if you'd like. The new lot that we've purchased is on a corner of Concession 6 and it's lot 11 in Calvin, Ontario.
That's on the west side of Donald's Road?
Correct, Suzanne and Donald's,
Yeah.
correct. And I can provide my email address. It's PARSHIN.MISSAGHI@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
get that to you.
Thank
And
you.
will there be a chance? I mean, I haven't read through the information. I'd like to do that with my husband as well. Will there be another chance for us to perhaps bring up some more questions about this bylaw?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, you're certainly welcome to send any questions you have to me and I can answer them to my best ability, but council will be, this is the opportunity to provide any comments basically on the setbacks. So what's happening is the setbacks are going back to the original ones. So your property, from what I have determined from looking at it, would meet the 70 meter and potentially the 300 meter setback from that MX zone now. That's to the east of your property, and you would not be impacted by that. The influence area, you would be within the influence area. So when you came for a building permit, what's proposed is that the owner of the property at the time would sign an acknowledgement with the township that they are aware that there could be future development in that MX zone, within that 1,000 meter influence area, and that they would like to still go ahead with their building permit.
Okay. Okay. And so, sorry, I'm just to be 100% sure, will our property, I guess, is not affected by this, and we're able to proceed with building on any of our lots, including our own retained lot. Is that correct?
That's what it looks like to me as far as what I can see. You're beyond the 300 meters.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Next, can we add either Mike LeBlanc or Jeff Barrel? Let's go with Mike, please.
Michelle?
Um,
Is he able to unmute his microphone, Mr. Mayor, or Mr. LeBlanc?
It looks like he's on silence.
He's muted, yes. I don't know where I can. I can't unmute him, so I'm not sure if he's trying to unmute himself or not.
Yeah, I can't either. Um,
Perhaps, Mr. Mayor, if he can hear us and he has a comment, and he could get back to us either after the meeting or well, sorry.
Councillor Cross.
Is Mike on the computer or on the telephone? He would be on the computer, so maybe giving him the instruction of looking down at the bottom of his left-hand side where the mute button is. Maybe he can, because sometimes it doesn't show up, that he can go and unmute himself there if he's listening.
Okay. How about Jeff Barrel then? I'm not sure if we've lost our secretary.
I'm still here, Your Worship, and I've asked that they unmute themselves, but I have
Okay.
not seen a response.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, how about the individual down the bottom that's calling in? 1-905-741-0839. Can that person unmute themselves?
Is it possible our administrator needs to do that?
I'm not able to unmute. I can request that they unmute themselves. And in the, I just quickly Googled it, and it says if you're on the phone, you can use star and the number 6, and it should mute or unmute your phone.
*6.
I'm not sure why this is not working.
Alternatively, your
Mm.
worship, they could log out and log back in, and I will I will change the settings so that they're not muted when they arrive.
Okay. Can you guys do that, please? Log out and log back in. Okay. Okay, so everybody's logged out, so fingers crossed.
Good. Mr. Mayor, it looks like the telephone is not muted, the telephone person.
Okay, let's hear from 905-741-0839, please.
Hello, are you there? Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, my name is Jason Lambert. My wife was just speaking earlier.
Yes.
We have the property on the corner of Suzanne's and Donald. I just wanted to clarify that you had mentioned that we'd be, anyone purchasing the property would be given notice that possible future development could impact the property. How would that affect any of the, anything that was built? Like if there was something that was built this year and that was changed next year, you just would not be able to develop it further. Is that your understanding of it, or?
It depends. It usually is only applicable to new development. I'm not sure the context, so it doesn't
I mean,
look
like if we were to build, or one of our the people who we're selling to were to build a house, and then say, several years down the road, the development changes, they just would not be able to get permits for any further, in the context of building, adding like an outbuilding or anything else to the property.
if it wasn't, if they were within the 300, if it was a quarry and they were within 300 meters, or a pit and they were within 70 meters, then they may have to do some additional work to show that. But it depends on what the building permit was for. If the principal use is on the property already, then that's grandfathered. And if they're looking at doing, some kind of outbuilding, that's not a sensitive use. So they would probably be fine as far as building permit goes, but it would depend on the bylaw of the day, how far in the future it would be. I mean, things can change,
Okay.
right?
No, I understand that. Thank you. And the other question I had was with respect to the specific MX zoned area. I was having a hard time finding the pit or the aggregate area that's close to our property there. Is there something that's there that is active, or is it just a piece of property that has that zoning?
What it was is the provincial government has aggregate potential maps. And so those were brought forward into the zoning bylaw map schedule. And that's basically based on provincial mapping for aggregate resources. So, so what we did was we pared that down and there was a lot of the property was in within 30 meters of water bodies. It was in wetland areas. It was, close to streams. And so those areas we took out of the MX, and we've just left the areas that are supposedly not within those environmentally sensitive areas. in the MX.
So then if I'm understanding correctly, there isn't an act, it's just a potential MX zone
Yes.
that's there. It's not an active zone.
That's my understanding, and I believe Mr. Burrill would probably be able to confirm that as well.
Okay, and so you're saying that one that was the potential zoning was within some wetlands or sensitive areas, and so that potential has been removed? Am I hearing that right?
Yes, and that was the reason why it would have brought your property in within the setback.
Okay, that makes sense, because I was trying to find the aggregate pit and I couldn't find it, so I was just trying to make some more sense of that.
Yeah. There was an old
Okay.
mine site just east of you as well, but that's I think quite old and not pertinent to this.
To the MX zoning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Barrow? Seem to be still muted. How about Mr. LeBlanc? Can you unmute? Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
Mr. LeBlanc, if you have a comment on the bylaw, it would be important that you get in contact with us, being one of the property owners of the MX zone to the north of Smith Lake. And I would be happy to give you my phone number at this point in time, or you can call the office and get it from them. But I can give it to you now. It's 250-574-7526. And you could give me a call at your convenience so that we make sure that we get this right for you.
And can Mr. Barrow do the same?
Yes, I did speak with Mr. Burrill already. I'm
Okay.
not sure if he had some additional comments, but if he did, please feel free to give me a call.
Okay. Can you repeat your number again, please?
250-574-7526.
Okay, thank you.
It sounds like I'm in British Columbia, but I'm not. So if you're wondering where the 250 is from, I've just had it for a long time and I really don't want to change it because it stands for the 7526 spells plan. So.
Okay.
Oh. And I do have Mr. LeBlanc on the phone. Blanc, did you? I'm going to try to put him through here. Did you have something that you needed to say?
We're unmuted now.
Cody.
Yeah, and you're okay. I should talk to you tomorrow about this or after the meeting. So once the meeting closed, I can give you a call back on your number or give me a call if you don't hear from me in the next half hour.
I thought you already had your phone number.
Okay, so it looks like Mr. It looks like Mr. Burrell is unmuted.
Yeah, we're unmuted now.
Okay,
All right.
Hi, I'm Lori Burrell.
okay,
Can you hear me?
yes,
Okay, good. And Jeff's here.
okay.
I'm not sure if he has any additional questions. And who was it?
Yeah, I spoke to Colleen last week concerning this letter I received in the mail from you. My concern was it wasn't very clear as to what was going on and why this was happening. I was under the impression that there was possibly somebody maybe going to open up a pit for aggregates, and I would just wanted information on whether that was the reason. And I believe I was told by Colleen that the reason you sent this stuff out was because of the zoning distances for Donald Road were overlapping these people's property that they're talking about developing. And that there wasn't actually an aggregate pit commencing anywhere on that map.
Correct.
Colleen, what is your number? I didn't get it written down. So just in case we ever want to call you back again, it was 250.
574
57.
7526.
Great. Okay, thanks. All right.
That's pretty well all I have.
Okay. So we've taken care of Mr. Burrell and Ms. Burrell.
Yeah.
And we've taken care of Mike LeBlanc. Is that correct? And we've,
Yeah, I'll speak with Mr. LeBlanc tomorrow. His concern was
Yes.
that we may be looking at a reduced size of the MX zone on his property. So that would be a good thing for us
okay,
to get
okay.
that final mapping for that particular property, so that maybe it would be less impact on surrounding
Okay.
properties. So
All right, so I think that's everybody then. All right. So again, if there's anyone who would like to make a comment on this proposed amendment, please make sure you state your name and address for the record before you start. I don't see anybody else here. So that's going to end this portion of the meeting this evening. I'm looking for an adjournment for this evening now. Calvin. Just gotta find it. I'll need a mover and a seconder for it. Okay, so can I get a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting this evening? Councillor Shipman, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Cross, can you second it, please?
Yes.
Okay, now therefore be it resolved that the planning meeting of October the 11th, 2022 be adjourned at 7:52 p.m. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Shipham?
No discussion.
Okay, and a call for a vote to adjourn the meeting at 7:52 p.m. Councillor Shipham, do you agreement?
Yes.
And Councillor Cross, are you in agreement?
Yes.
And I'm in agreement as well. So this planning meeting is adjourned for this evening. Thank you everyone for attending and have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow night. Some of you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.